And welcome everybody to R6. This is week, I believe, what?
It's 4 maybe?
Week 4, R6 here at EKU. I'm Alan. And this is Marshall, also known as Think, if you've seen him playing. And today we're back in some more R6 action. And we're starting off, I believe this is like one of your all's favorites. You'll seem to play it every week, Nighthaven Labs. And it's one of the maps I am very not knowledgeable on.
Yeah, we end up playing labs a lot, actually, because teams pick it against us, but we still tend to do okay on it. So, but yeah, labs, it's one of the newer comp maps, so a lot of people may not know it as well just yet. It's been around about a year now. We're a little over that.
All right, and the first ban out is Montaigne. And talk to me your kind of thought process when you are going through your operator bans. What do you all usually like to pick? Is there a little bit of, what the other team likes to play, or is it map dependent?
Can depend on the map or what we want to do on the map that day, because some maps totally change up based on what operators that you ban. It sets the stage for the rest of the map, how it plays out, what operators you bring during the game. So seeing a Montaigne ban, that's more of just like a kind of a blanket type of ban that just eliminates Montaigne, because there's so many pushes that come with Montaigne, especially on labs, to get that space. So EKU choosing to ban Montaigne there, probably just because they want to eliminate a lot of those Monty pushes.
Yeah, and then Dokkaebi and Azami, more of the same we usually see across this map. I know Azami can be really impactful on some of these sites, and then the Tuber ban is not one we see often. That I guess EKU Maroon having that in the back pocket. Talk to me a little bit about that.
So seeing a Tuber ban indicate that EKU probably don't want to be running Maverick on attack here a lot, because if that Tuberal's up, you're going to be having to run Maverick, because otherwise you're going to get iced out trying to hard breach anything. So makes me think that we're going to see more of like Thatcher and Thermite and Ace rather than a Maverick brought on attack. Although it is available to use if EKU decided to.
All right, and I think everything's all good. I know it looked like a couple of the operators didn't get picked necessarily in time, but they'll have time to switch here in the prep phase. And we are second floor to start off with EKU. Talk to me a little bit about the composition that we see from EKU and how you like to set up on this site specifically.
Well, EKU got the Warden, first of all. Usually you see like a Warden or a Smoke over there. He'll play top blue. Almost every team's going to have a guy playing top blue, and a lot of time, again, it's going to be Warden or Smoke. Seeing Coast Guard running the Blitz, which actually they'll swap off of. That would have been huge for the Warden if they did run the Blitz, but they do swap off of it. Just kind of a power spot there, and you'll see the Warden just to protect from smokes and getting flashed out over on blue. And then for kind of the wall mini games, Labs being a really big like breach-oriented map, we're going to see lots of wall mini games, and EKU opting to do the Bandit mini game this round. And then Clash is kind of an X factor that some teams like to bring just to slow the attack, especially if the attack likes to go connector. But looks like EKU won't get that Bandit trick off, unfortunately. The IT wall is going to open up.
Yeah, swing here early from Lomo is unfortunately going to get taken down by Donut, swung into two players just outside the door. And so EKU falling down into the 4 versus 5 early. Lots of info gained. Obviously, Kolvix on the Clash is going to be just a living drone, essentially, on that breached wall. And so lots of info gained, but how are you going to capitalize?
This push is pretty one-dimensional so far, though. They're only pressuring IT and the rafter door there, so there's room here for EKU to just hold these lanes, especially with this Clash, and they're not necessarily out of this round yet, despite losing their opening pick.
Yeah, Donut did take a little bit of damage here on the opening engagement, and a nice C4 from the bottom from Sin, very good off the yellow ping. Two players are looking to swing towards the top stairs. They don't quite commit just yet. Kolvix is going to get swung and taken down. A battle with the Blackbeard here he is going to have to back away. Sin lit up to his fullest. Challenge coming through. 1v1 unfortunately is going to get taken down. And the 4v2 here for the Coast Guard.
That's where man disadvantage ends up costing you. Coast Guard could send a body at Sin there to keep him occupied, and he actually gets the kill. And now it's dire straits for EKU in this round in a 2v4.
Yeah, with 1 minute on the clock here, Coast Guard have plenty of time to finish off this execute cleanly. However, I wouldn't say this is down and out just yet. One mistake could be what cost them, and Borger's actually in a decent position here. Moon does get some shots off. Borger is going to be able to take down one.
Yeah, problem with this Coast Guard attack is they're funneling to one lane here that can be dealt with by EKU.
Ooh. One
Moon
goes down.
One.
And the damage coming from both sides. EKU has a nice pinch here onto this remaining player. He's going to back up, try to get some reinforcements from the stairs. Diamond Blaster on the Finca, looking to help out. Not going to go for the pickup just yet. Will recover the diffuser. 20 seconds on the clock now. Time is a factor. You have to be careful if you're the Coast Guard to throw this one away. More damage going out. Borger's unable to complete the kill, but does set up Moon for a decent position. Gonna run away. 13 seconds left on the clock. The diffuser is going to have to go down, and if you're Moon, you'd certainly most want to play for that. Swing gonna come through. The shield is going to do a lot of work here, and he will be able to pick up the kill. Coast Guard take round number 1.
Yeah, that Blackbeard just spearheading most of the problems that Coast Guard had. Coast Guard really did not set themselves up very well for that round. They funneled very one-dimensionally, but the spearhead of the Blackbeard was just enough to really catch EKU off guard and take the space that Coast Guard needed despite their one-dimensional push.
Yeah, so talk to me about the way you all like to play defense. I feel like a lot of times, from an observer's perspective, from a caster perspective, it seems like you all prefer to really just bleed out the clock, really make the opposing team use all 3 minutes, and then push them into time trouble late in the round. Would you say that's pretty accurate?
Yeah, for a lot of collegiate teams, they're their own worst enemy. So if we force them to work for control, to waste time, then most collegiate teams will milk the clock very easily and force them to execute really late just because they're slow and not as coordinated as really well practiced teams. Now going against a more practiced team, you have to play a lot more dynamically than that, but it works against a lot of collegiate teams to just play that layered defense where make them waste time here, then pull back, make them waste more time, and they end up shooting themselves in the foot.
Mm-hmm. It seems more or less the same setup. We will have the Cade here from Colvix instead of the Clash for EKU, looking to do more or less of the denial games like we saw with the attempted banded trick in the last round. And the same setup from the Coast Guard as we are set up again here on second floor.
Yeah, EKU swapping off that Clash, which actually could have been huge for them last round since the attack was so one-dimensional, but the Clash died pretty early for being Clash. I'm not sure what went down there, but that was costly. So now they're just going to flip off the Clash and just run Cade instead. On top of the Bandit, who is currently playing mini games with that Thermite. Not sure if he got a trick there or not, but he's definitely thrown a wrench in the attack this time around.
Yeah, it looks like they have abandoned this IT push for the moment, looking to move more towards the stairs, and Skag is going to take a bit of damage here. The Finca pulse coming through, and the Blackbeard again causing some more problems. Frag grenade out, not cooked, and a great shot by Lomo. Sin will get hit on the trade, but Colvix picks one up on the opposite side of the map. And a 4 versus 3 here for EKU Maroon. Some damage going back over the way towards Lomo. Another Finca boost in for the Coast Guard.
Yeah, now you'll notice Coast Guard's doing something they didn't do last round, which might help them maybe pull this one back. They have the Thatcher there of Donut entering the meeting side. This is going to create a 2-dimensional push. And Fink is actually with them this time. So they're going to have pressure from 2 different lanes here. This is what they need to try to pick apart EKU. Otherwise, EKU is just going to wait and pick them apart when they funnel.
Yeah, Colvix is in a great position here. One player runs straight forward, and he will get his one before getting traded, but trades are fine here in this life-up situation. And a minute on the clock, it does feel like a scenario where the Coast Guard are their own worst enemy. You said it best. That clock slowly ticking down. Legend does have the diffuser, so no worry there, but how do you execute onto this site with only 2 players?
Yeah, and again, they sort of abandoned what I thought they had going for them with sort of a split push. Both of these players are connector and electrical side. This is going to be another one-dimensional push, and EKU have man advantage. This should be a slaughter on the site unless we see something special from Coast Guard.
And a great reposition there by Lomo to move back towards IT, especially when that hard breach comes through. They really have to commit to that with 20 seconds on the clock. He's going to be able to throw the fin rear out. Legend swings. Will find one, but Moon on the trade. And now with 20 seconds, this should just be an easy trade down here for EKU. The frag comes in, but to no avail for Diamond. 10 seconds left on the clock. And it's slowly ticking down. Is he going to make an attempt here? Some shoulders coming through from Lomo. No attempt to... Oh, he's going to go ahead and try to stick it, but both players will fly forward, and that will be the round win for EKU.
Yeah, good stuff there from EKU. Their plays early round worked out to give them the man advantage. There were some trades that went down, but we came out 4v3. And then, again, Coast Guard kind of started funneling just like before. I thought at first they might have that split pressure, but they didn't pull it off. And EKU know how to play their spots and hold their crosses, and they pick them apart there when they go for any kind of execute.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit about how you all rotate around the map as the round progresses. It seems like you all tend to favor having a strong roam presence early in the round, but as the round slowly ticks down, you prefer to bring it back towards site. Is that something you'd agree with, or have a different view on?
Yeah, a lot of rounds, and again, that plays back into the layered factor of defenses. That's kind of the default way to play Siege. Is you have these layers. You have a roam layer. You shoot some drones. You maybe get a pick, but then you fall back because then they worry about where you were and not where you are now, and then they got to worry about where you are now after they get over where you were. So you see that a lot for just kind of that layered style, and EKU definitely favor that by default. Some teams you can't do that against that like to play more aggressive or rush a lot, but again, most collegiate teams, they play more default as well, and it does a really good job wasting time against a lot of teams, which we see EKU with the Vigil, so I'm expecting them to have a lot of the roam game come into play this round.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit before the stream started about how, I'm not necessarily the most educated person in Siege. The castle pick is something that's been kind of odd for me, and a great pick there by Moon.
Yeah, really good pick, and attempting to bandit trick that Mira, but Colvix was just a little bit late, and now they will have that breach open.
Yeah, but the castle pick is always something. I played Siege a while back, and castle was never really picked in my level of ranked. Talk to me a little bit about the idea behind castle here for EKU.
Yeah, castle just closes off some angles, some windows that the attack can get to really punish the defense's rotations. So you'll see like some windows castled and whatnot. That's why they do that. And in the meantime, looks like some trades going out on the roam. And Lomo caught un-ADS'd his pants down, and he gets smoked by deleted. It's now a 3v3. Border's still up. Might see him peel back, but there's still a minute 50 left. The attack has a lot of time to work with here to decide what they want to do.
Yeah, unlike previous rounds where we've seen Coast Guard kind of taking their time, this was more a rush push than anything. The Blitz kind of flew on in after the pick and just kind of flew straight in, got a flash off, and deleted followed up pretty quick and found two in the round. So a 3v3, here we are. Moon taking the gunfight, a little bit of a mini game here, but the Ash Charge will take down the Mira. Goodbye there. Legend, though, fully lit up from the side of Coast Guard, and that's a huge health advantage here for EKU.
Yeah, we do have split lanes of pressure here from Coast Guard, but Borger will take down the exosuit player, and so now both of the Coast Guard players that are left are outside the breach. And again, 3v2 for EKU. They should manage this.
Yeah, 1 minute on the clock. Also a factor. Gunfire going the way towards Colvix will get lit up and now has to be careful of his position. Does take the challenge, get some more damage in. A nice headshot there to finish off Diamond, and the Legend was a dead man walking. Nice two-piece from Colvix to end off that round.
Yeah, Coast Guard had a really, in my opinion, good early round for a tank attack here. They used the Blitz. Again, we talked about the Montaigne being great for getting that map control easy. Blitz can be used too, and they sent the Blitz through cafeteria to clear out that cafeteria and vending side roam. And they honestly got a great amount of control that they needed early in the round. But from there, they just were sort of uncoordinated on what to do next. Their mid-round started to fall apart, and when EKU got it down to that 3v2, it was kind of over.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about these first floor setups. On pretty much every map, I think it's safe to say that the bottom floor and top floor are usually your top two picks for where you want to set up on defense. We usually only see teams go to the first floor when they've won 2 in a row. Talk to me about how you play this as a competitor.
Well, it's kind of map dependent, but yeah, on this map for sure, the basement again allows for you to have a layered defense. We saw shooting drones trying to get back to site. You just have multiple layers of defense there, and then the top floor is good on this map because of how easy it is to make the attack funnel, and you can set up utility and stuff like Warden to counter any execute hopes that you might have on these lanes, these funneled lanes. That's kind of why those two are the stronger two sites, and we see first floor a little less. But I think storage is still a really good site because you still have this top floor presence. It's sort of a hybrid. You start top floor with these funneled lanes, but you can't dump all your utility there because you have to hold the site. So you see some good bunker then down on the site itself on the floor below. And again, it looks like that Coast Guard are going to opt to bring the blitz, which worked for them really well last round. That might be a trend that they think might help them take some space here against EKU, and we'll see how it works.
Yeah, it looks like they're doing exactly that here on the top floor, trying to clear out roamers here early, as it's just a 5-way push on this side of the map to start off. The blitz is in up top, and players falling behind. Nice bit of chip damage here, running straight into the Sin, and he will be able to find that kill. A beautiful one there. Borger takes the swing on deleted, shuts him down immediately, and this Coast Guard push seems to have stalled before it could start. Wow.
Yeah, Alan, I don't know. What a shot. The same issues are here from Coast Guard. They're all funneling. It's all this one dimension connector and electrical side, and
yeah,
EKU just farm.
Yeah, and I mean, there's really nothing else to that. They look like they have something going to start off that attack. Trying to change the pace up a little bit since the first 2 rounds where they kind of got funneled. Brought out the blitz, like you said, you thought it could be a mainstay, and clearly they thought it was working for them. They just get absolutely pulverized there by EKU, and honestly, great set of teamwork. I mean, look at the stats. No one above 4 kills from EKU. On the flip side from the Coast Guard, Diamond's got 1, ECAC at 0, so not what you want to see if you are a fan of the Academy.
Yeah, I would like to see ECAC get on the board, but if EKU keep it up, might be a little bit of a challenge for him and for Coast Guard in general. Again, yeah, that blitz, they use it to gain ground, to get pressure, but if you don't have a good plan after that, if you're going to be one-dimensional after that, then what's it worth? It just isn't netting Coast Guard anything when they don't know how to execute past that. They've been too one-dimensional so far, and I hope that in this timeout they talk about how they need to have more dimensions to their attack and apply more pressure other than their main push.
Yeah, and so I come from games that have a mini-map. So I mainly play COD, I mainly play Valorant. Those are my 2 games where I've been the most successful as a competitor. So the mini-map to me is always like a mainstay. I'm treating it like my rear view mirror. In R6, you don't have that. How does that affect your pacing on rushes? I feel like the comms get hectic, and if you're not careful, you're not calming exactly what you're looking at. Do you feel like that can be a problem for some of these collegiate teams to not necessarily be always aware of what they want to do next?
Sure. At the end of the day, I think it takes a lot of practice and preparation. You need to know what the rest of your team is doing, absolutely. And the way that you do that is good preparation and good practice, knowing how you as a team function on what you want to do. Because, yeah, rushes and siege can be crazy, but a lot of people have to do things right and fast. And if not, yeah, you won't see a lot of collegiate teams successful on things like that because they're just not as well practiced or prepared to execute, multi-layered, coordinated attacks like that. Yeah, much harder without a mini-map. You got to actually know the map.
Yeah,
at all
you actually
times.
have to have every bit of information.
In a way, you build a mental image as to what's going on and sort of juggling who's where and trying to keep it in your mind and applying it to how you play. It can be difficult.
Yeah, I'm too simple for that. I just stick to COD. My 4v4 hard point. I know everything that's going on because I can look at the top left-hand corner of my screen. But we will see the clash brought back by Colvix here up top. So looking to maybe stall a similar push, and you can see here. Oh, and we will find the pick onto the Blackbeard, and Moon should get picked up. A great hold there by EKU to take down the tip of the spear, and that's going to put the Academy one man down.
Yeah, Coast Guard there, I think that's what their solution of having only one dimension so far was. They sent the Blackbeard and the Finka up the blue stairs there. Finka ended up pulling out after Blackbeard got cooked. But the issue there is they weren't in sync with the rest of their team. Now, if the rest of their team collapsed on the other side at the same time, we might have seen a different round here, but they were just on an island by themselves pushing the blue stairs, and they got punished.
Yeah, all about the timings, working together. When you're setting up a push, do you all usually do a countdown? That's what we do in COD.
You have to do a countdown, otherwise it's too difficult to execute at the same time. A lot of teams don't realize that.
I would agree with that. And so now, EKU just bleeding out the clock here, a minute left, and that's really not that much time in the grand scheme of things, especially when you have players pushed off-site, such as Lomo, set up in a great position there. This little electrical corner can be very powerful, I've noticed.
Yep, Lomo just looking to punish these players if they make a mistake on pushing him here. And however, I will say the Finka looks like has jumped in top garage, and that could be an X factor for them to actually win this round, having that extra layer of their attack. The rest of them are stacked up here pushing electrical. Lomo gets one, but immediately gets traded. 4 versus 3 still for EKU though.
Yeah, and Borger just lights him up, takes down Donut. 4 versus 2 now. And with all the information, the clash on site as well, this should just be a gimme for EKU here, especially with the Fenrir inside of IT. Red pings are coming out as well. And I think this one is pretty much done and dusted with Colvix in this position.
Yeah, 15 seconds left in a clash. This is not to be sad for the Coast Guard.
Yeah, grenade comes through as the last ditch. Everybody just back up. He has exactly the known positions for both of them. We're going to see a prone swing here. Tries to find one. Are you going to find any? No, it doesn't matter. And EKU Maroon, they win. I believe that's their 4th straight.
Yeah, 4-1 now for EKU. And again, Coast Guard, I liked half of that adaptation. They had the right call, sending heavy, fast pressure blue, but where's the rest of their attack?
Yeah.
Rest of their attack is outside on the other side of the map, and so they net nothing from that pressure. You saw they drew 3 EKU players to deal with that blue pressure. It would have been a 3v2 on the rest of the site had their team gone with them. But without that coordination, they just got powered and it fell flat, and they stalled the rest of the round.
Back to basement we go, and talk to me about the operator Sin is playing and how you've worked this operator into your compositions.
So Scopus, in my opinion, is very good for roaming and time delay. You can leave one of those robots down on site, and then you can kind of run around for free. And where Labs is a very cut-off, important map for dealing with the roam, you set attackers like on windows or on doors to hold the defender rotations. Scopus is really good because you can get back to sight, denying those angles and those lines of sight on your rotations back. You just get back for free after wasting some time. So this is one of those sites that Scopus is valid on, and it looks like EKU are opting to run that. They ran the Vigil the last time, and now they're going to run the Scopus to waste that time on their own.
Yeah, and some new operator picks here in the last round before the half. From the Coast Guard, we see the Maverick, the Lion, and I believe the Deimos, correct me if I'm wrong. Talk to me about what they might be thinking here with those picks.
Yeah, they're probably going to identify one of these roamers. It's their best interest to try to get Sin here on the Scopus. They're going to track him and try to pick him fast to deal with this roam. Definitely an anti-roam operator, and we'll see if it works out for them though.
Oh, lights up S-Guy here from his little bullet hole. He's going to keep taking this swing. Colvix has no fear. Right on the angle, couple shots. Oh, he wants it. He is going to back off. Marshall's over here
Sort
just
of a
waving them off.
questionable peaks here. You really don't want to die to this. I appreciated the early aggression when you had the jump on him, but now he's ready for it. So hopefully we don't see Kolvix getting punished here for his over ambition.
Yeah, and the Legion will be pinged by the Deimos. And so, not necessarily too worrying, but is a roamer nonetheless, and he's going to look to back up as much as possible, take some pre-fires here and there. We'll get the drone the second time around, but it does look like they're just roam hunting up top. You saw kind of like an entourage of 4 players from the Coast Guard all up top, using the Lion Ping to try to get out any more information. And the ECAC is just kind of soloing down here on the bottom, but Deleted will be the first one to find blood, taking down Borger.
Yeah, see, they're targeting the Legion here with the Deimos, but it was the Skopos they wanted earlier, but Skopos is back on site now, and it's Lomo by himself on this first floor with 4 attackers.
Oh!
He'll down one, but unfortunately won't get the other. But here's this Skopos ability coming into play. He's Skopos back to site, so the roam could take their space that they wanted, but now he's above him, and he has a beautiful flank about to happen if Coast Guard are not ready for this.
Yeah, off screen we did see Moon catch Maverick, the only player downstairs outside of sight. So now the rest of the Coast Guard are kind of up top. They did manage to hunt down Borger and Lomo, but as you mentioned, Sin has this beautiful flank. The Jackal ping on to Moon, not necessarily too influential at this time, but Sin has a good jump here. If he can find it, the Lion ping coming through will stop this momentarily. Sin will swing and he'll find one before going down. Kolvix, I believe, through the wall finds that kill and lines it up into a 2 versus 2 with 17 seconds left on the clock here. And now, if you're Coast Guard, you have to move fast. You had this one, you had a good attack plan. Can you transition here in the last 10 seconds? And Moon holding this angle, set up perfectly, waiting for the push. Kolvix will get taken down by Donut, but a minute on the clock. The swing comes through. Moon's going to be able to find it. The diffuser going down, has to check the corner, will be able to do so. And Maroon, they take it this half 5-1. A beautiful showing by them in this first half.
Yeah, somehow, despite, I feel like Coast Guard did a good job clearing the roam, other than maybe they all pushed together, and if they had multiple entry points, they might have dealt with the roam faster, but they took care of the roam that they wanted, and they had the space they needed, but that Skopos flank was kind of an X factor that brought EKU back into the round despite being 3 versus 4. He went 1 for 1, but it bought some time, and time's what won the round. Because we saw Moon and Kolvix really tighten up and clutch up as the side anchor.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Kolvix got that kill through the wall.
He did, yeah. Sin most likely called that, hey, you know, there's at least 2 guys flooding cargo, and we just saw a nice game sense wallbang there toward the cargo side from Kolvix, and it lined up and hit. Very nice.
Were you were on the team, I forget who did it.
Moon.
Yeah,
Wallbang
Moon on the chalet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was mind blown.
Yeah, we knew that Alibi was kitchen, and he heard the Alibi running carpet, which is the room right before where the Alibi was when he picked her. So it was just hearing the audio, knowing where she was, and just a beautiful game sense shot into West Main where he knew that she had to be rotating, and yeah, took care of business and made for a questionable clip.
Yeah, definitely a little questionable for sure. And you all actually lost the first map in that series, so a great bit of resilience out of you all there.
Yeah, and it was actually this map. Made some mistakes and let it slip away, but a 5-1 defensive half from EKU this time around. They've tightened up a lot of stuff, and they're punishing Coast Guard really well for their mistakes.
Yeah, and Kolvix going to break the mirror here. And get to work on the map trick. And... I mean,
yeah, this is saw that coming. That's the strat. If you're Maverick there, you cannot be sticking your face in it, especially when that mirror's popped. Teams are gonna C4 the open mirror to get a freebie on the Maverick, and yeah, you gotta know when to pull off there. And Kolvix did not. He got punished for it.
Yeah, so an early life loss here to start off the offensive, and I feel like on offense. How do you avoid making the similar kind of mistakes that the Coast Guard made? How do you avoid funneling, especially down a man here in your first offensive?
Well, we already see we've got Blackbeard here pressuring IT. Almost got that pick. Actually, Borger does get the pick as the mirror tries to rotate out. We see Borger and Lomo here posted up. IT side, while Sin and Moon have gotten connector and electrical, so we already see more lanes from EKU to pressure the site than Coast Guard opened up almost the entire game.
Yeah.
They were able to equalize, and now it's 4v4 with this multi-lane push. All they need is to pressure one of these defenders to come out of these power spots and punish them, and they'll have an opening in.
Yeah, and a great amount of space taken here by EKU. A minute on the clock, so some time to work with, but don't want to spend it all in one place for sure.
Yeah, if they knew this bandit was here, we have Capital Fire from Sin here that he can use to root any of these defenders out of spots, but might not know that the bandit is actually ratted right here close right of the breach. Need a drone on the site. The patience from the bandit.
Not a lot of drones in the economy either, only 4 left. I believe 1 in the pocket, but Sin will find 1 onto the site. A beautiful pick by him. And so 4 versus 3 with 30 seconds. Do you just want to see an execute here?
They're about ready for an execute. Yeah, we're going to see this Capital smoke and the fire to pressure these spots, but this bandit hiding in the corner is going to be an X factor for the round here. Border goes down, but the bandit goes down. Now it's a 2v1. Defenders on command side, the bomb's going down. Blackbeard's going to be covering. Can he keep him off?
And now Diffuser goes down. 2 versus 1 for EKU against Donut. The swing come through from Lomo, just going to keep throwing the shoulder out. Shield is so strong in this position. All you have to do is use the 3rd man that you have in this Diffuser. The swing comes through from the Ella and will get blasted back, and Lomo is going to be able to take that kill.
Yeah, we've seen Blackbeard work out really well for both teams here on the top floor, just to get some space and to apply this pressure. And yeah, great stuff from EKU there though to split their pressure. And you saw when you have multiple layers of pressure, you can kind of just force the defense into mistakes. And it was that, I think it was Malusi on the Coast Guard side that we saw kind of some quiet time from EKU as they just held angles and they got the Malusi to move, picked it, and were able to execute after that.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit, you know, in that kind of position when it gets just eerily quiet and everyone's kind of holding positions, you know, at least from my neck of the woods, competitive COD, that game all about timings, especially in the respawn. That's pretty much the entire skill gap, knowing your respawn timings, figuring out who's off spawn when they're coming, where did they spawn, who's dead, who's alive. Talk to me about how you manage your timings in this.
Yeah, well, like earlier, a lot of time when you're ready for execute, you gotta time a 3-2-1, and then if you're talking about the round time, you just have to know what else you need to be ready to execute, and then know what time you have to work with. So EKU there, they got the space they wanted early, so they had a gap of like 30-40 seconds there where they just sat still and were like, we'll just wait for Coast Guard to make a mistake, and it worked, and they got the pick that they needed just because they had the time. And then once they had that, just in sequence, they went for their execute, and it worked out really well for them.
Coast Guard gonna take another shot at the top floor as EKU are on map point. And it looks like EKU are gearing up to maybe play this just a smidge faster based on the setup. I'm not sure if you'd agree.
Well, I think they're going to try to get below here. They had the Capital last time who entered very fast in the meeting side, but this time around, they're going to send in the Buck. And if you see a Buck on command attack, you know that they're going to try to get below and open up some sort of vertical pressure from beneath on the defense. I do like this Ella adaptation from Coast Guard, though, to try to counter this Blackbeard. You'll see Ella a lot more in this meta, especially if the team that you're playing against runs shields. Ella's really good here. So I like this adaptation, but again, yeah, EKU also adapted, and we'll see what they want to do. They're already looking to try to get more pressure rafters and water on blue side of the map. So we'll see what they do for that.
Yeah, and the drones underneath are definitely looking to take that bottom control, just like you said, put some vertical pressure down. And Lomo is just going to become the nuisance that is he just going to get a free kill here? Yes, he is. I mean, that's very questionable out of Coast Guard there to not really realize what sort of angles are open when.
Yeah, not much game sense from the Legend 27 there. A bit disappointing.
Yeah, and so the 4 versus 5 is in here for EKU, and we kind of see a similar position where they've taken a lot of space here early. They've got quite the setup across the map. Donut is going to equalize onto Moon, so the ace utility is going to be gone. Kolvix is aware of that player underneath. The player for the wall will spray him down. Sin's going to swing onto site all the same. A great read onto the timing there by Deleted in a 4 versus 1 we fall onto. The spray through the wall is going to take it down, and EKU Maroon, I mean, I'm not sure how much more beautiful you can get to close out that one.
Yeah, that was a clinical round. I love the adaptation. First attack, they go for IT and Command. This time they go for IT, Raptors, and Water side. And worked out extremely well for them switching it up. And again, Coast Guard kind of shot themselves in their own foot, especially that Malusi kind of just being lost there. EKU just exploited those mistakes from Coast Guard and ripped them apart that round for sure.
Yeah, pretty clinical out of the Maroon team in map number 1 across Night Heaven. We saw a bit of a fumble there in map number 1, or in round number 1 rather, but after that, pretty spot on. And so now I believe this is your all's bread and butter, your favorite map, Chalet.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to go to Chalet next and have a pretty good track record there. So, obviously, especially winning Lab 7-1, might expect some good stuff here on Chalet. But you never know. We'll see. Coast Guard could be the greatest Chalet team on the planet. Might surprise us, and could not be the case. But historically speaking, Chalet's favorable for Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, for sure. I hope you're not, worried about revealing any strats out here, just airing out the dirty laundry. But
at this point, if you're not knowing that EKU is scary on Chalet, then you're not.
You gotta do some review.
Right.
What operator bans do you think we'll see here on Chalet?
Depends on if EKU want to stick to their guns or if they think they might ban something they saw from Coast Guard the previous map. We'll see what they decide to do, and also might depend on what the attack bans are from both sides. So Chalet, a lot of power positions, so you'll see stuff like Mira and Azami banned a lot on this map because there's so many good spots that are opened up by the Azami, by that Mira. Valk is also good on this map because there's frankly good Valk cam spots for in a lot of the rafters and stuff for intel and information. Those three are probably the most common Chalet bans, but EKU, they're going to look at what Coast Guard ban on attack and maybe decide to ban something based on what they saw from Coast Guard's defense last time around, although they didn't see much of Coast Guard's defense since they dealt them pretty quickly.
Yeah. So would you say that in the scheme of things, where you exist in this space where you have operator bans, do you see usually one or two different metas spring up depending on operator bans? Like, for example, do you see any teams potentially banning Blackbeard in the future?
Blackbeard's extremely common ban right now, especially in collegiate, because, we saw the damage he was able to do last game. Again, almost every game you're going to see at least one of those shield operators banned from the attacking side. They're just so good at taking space and applying pressure, and Blackbeard is incredibly annoying. So likely to see, Blitz, Blackbeard, Montaigne ban here on Chalet, because again, talking about how good the power positions are, well, shields are really good at clearing out power positions. So very likely to see some shield bans here, which Blackbeard's very good in the meta currently. So could see Blackbeard come out in the ban phase.
For sure. And we are going to load up here into Chalet. And EKU are going to start off on the attack. So a bit of a different, setup as opposed to Night Haven Labs. And so they will get the first ban here for offense. And there we will see the Blackbeard ban.
Yeah, they saw quite a bit of Blackbeard and Blitz from Coast Guard, so definitely opting to choose the Blackbeard there because of Coast Guard kind of relying on it. And to be honest, the one round that Coast Guard won
because of the
was kind of because of Blackbeard. And there's another shield ban. We see the Blitz from Coast Guard, and in my opinion, those are the two better shields on Chalet. So Montaigne's still up. Montaigne right now on this map, we don't see a ton as much anymore, but could definitely see one of these teams pulling some Montaigne out if needed.
And the Valkman, like you were saying.
Yeah, EKU, again, I would expect them to go for something here that's power position based unless they want to counter Coast Guard. So they do take out that Fenrir, which not quite what I expected here, but Fenrir on this map, again, the map's a little smaller and the lane, there's very well-defined lanes on this map, so seeing a Fenrir is not super surprising. They're obviously not wanting to get choked out on those lanes that they want to push on their attack.
Yeah, it looks like Coast Guard are going to start top 4, and I did want to ask you all about this because I remember when I played, which again, take everything I say with a grain of salt, obviously. But when I played, top 4 was second best site. Everyone obviously playing ranked. I was plat, so you know how it is. Everyone was the GOAT at defending basement. No one could ever break that down, and so top 4 was the second favorite amongst everybody, at least when I played. However, whenever I watch you all play this map, you all seem to avoid this site like it's the plague. You all tend to prefer, I believe, Kitchen over this site, and I think I've even seen you all play the other first 4 site as opposed to going top 4. Is there any specific reason for that, or?
Well, yeah, like you said, in ranked, it's still about the same. Top 4 and basement are the most preferred sides, but on the competitive side, you got to think about what we were talking about last map with the ability to layer a defense.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, Kitchen is a better site competitively, and especially in collegiate when, frankly, a lot of these teams don't know how to attack stuff other than Master, and when they see Kitchen, you set up the top 4 similar to Master for Kitchen, but then there's that other layer. You clear the top 4, then you got to worry about Kitchen. So in comp, the competitive side, you see Kitchen a lot more and Master a lot less, but collegiate still does like the Master site quite a bit, so EKU are going to have quite a bit of practice on here on attacking Master, even if they choose not to defend it.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that, offensively, do you think that there's more required of you in terms of like an individual gun skill level? Donut is going to find a pick here onto Kolvix, but just in terms of like taking challenges on the offense versus taking chows on the defense.
At the end of the day, looks like Sin equalizes refrags the donut there. That's very favorable for EKU, and they have everybody who's playing below.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more about pressure and positioning than gun skill at all, in my opinion. I don't think either side is really swayed more so by gun skill. It's about timing and positioning and pressure, and despite EKU dumping a lot of pressure onto the solar side here, it's been punished so far. 1-for-1 trade below in the Azami. Oh. And what a shot onto Sin. Got smoked by the Legend 27.
Yeah, he had to make up for his little mishap there in the last round of the labs. Heard you talking about him a little bit, I think. But a minute on the clock. Here comes the Dokkaebi ring, and 2 versus 4, much harder, I would assume, to apply this pressure that you were talking about to force Coast Guard into a mistake or into an unfavorable position. And with 50 seconds on the clock, going to be difficult for EKU to claim this round.
Yeah, EKU choosing to stay on these rappels and wait for Coast Guard to make a mistake, but Coast Guard might have learned from last map and they might be settling down, but it does look like Legend 27 gets punished for overexposing. That's what EKU were looking for, and that allows the Ace of Moon to get into Solar.
And so Space is taken here, and he is just going to try to lay this down, and with 20 seconds left, if he can get this down and then play off the rappel. This is certainly not over, especially with 40 seconds. Can he find an exit before going down? He won't, but Border is able to find a trade here. And in the 2 versus 1, almost finds it. Has the right read, but unfortunately, ECAC will pick up that 1. And Coast Guard will pick up round number 1, similar to map.
Yep, and a little bit better there from Coast Guard on just relaxing on their spots there. And honestly, yeah, totally different from what we saw last map, but the MVP of that round was the Legend 27. which we saw 2 different EKU players give him 1v1 gunfights, and he capitalized on those mistakes, taking out Lomo and Sin that round. And yeah, a huge round from the legend himself. So
yeah, gotta give him his props. But now we will go to Wine and Garage. And, you know, I'm just trying to learn all I can. Whenever I used to play, I know, getting old, everyone always just hit the garage door, but it seems like, obviously, of course, you definitely prefer to have a bit more pressure across the site. Don't blame you at all, but teams don't even necessarily try to open up the garage at all, from what I've seen. Is there a reason behind that? Just prefer resources in towards this wine side?
I think usually teams want that garage open, but early round it's just not worth it to spend a lot of utility to get it first thing. So you'll see teams do other stuff first before they open that garage wall, and sometimes just the way the round might play out, they don't end up opening that garage wall. But I do think having garage open is huge for that pressure. You can cut the side in half basically by opening that. So it's very important. It's just not necessarily the first thing that teams will go for. And sometimes they decide to go full backside and they don't open the garage up at all. So we'll see from EKU what they like to do here. It does, to me, seem with the Capitan Grim, they're gonna go for this backside to pressure the power spots that prevent that backside from being pressured, and also dependent upon if that kitchen hatch is reinforced or not. I'm wanting to say it is because it looks like most of the defense is bunkered down on the basement, with the exception of Donut playing the Capcan way up on the top floor.
And EKU doing a great job of droning out those Capcans as well. We will see the Thermite come through to open up a wine, and it looks like Coast Guard have kind of given up a bit of space here early. Usually see a lot of teams battling for this little corner of wine, trying to prevent that breach from going through, but Kolvix has been allowed to get the job done here early. And a minute and a half on the clock with no blood yet. The Azami barrier is going to come out, add some more soft materials to the breach. Will quickly get torn to shreds, but bullets are wasted. And gunfights still continuing to go down. Sin with the fire. Legend 27 will get dropped by Kolvix there. And I would assume we'll see some smokes and an execute onto Wine here in a second.
Yeah, Coast Guard have given EKU everything they need for this execute. EKU just need to be careful about this Capcan on the flank. Otherwise, they should be able to lock down the lane. They get him. And now this plant's going to go down. Oh, he does get caught out. Almost got through.
Yeah.
Now it's 5v1. EKU with a clinical attack here on the line side.
Yeah, and honestly, that's really beautiful. That's the first time where I've really been able to recognize the idea behind that every single time. You know, opening up that barrier and cutting that side in half, like you mentioned with the garage. What you would do on that side, you just do it on the opposite. And I am really surprised that we didn't see Coast Guard kind of play on that side of Wine more heavily, and it really punished them there at the end. They all had to cross over and just got sprayed down.
Yeah, it gets hard to do when you have all those lanes of pressure and lines of sight cutting the side into. We saw they had one guy playing pillar, but he got dealt with the utility dumps, and after that, when the kitchen hatch is reinforced, you just got to keep guns up on blue and on connector, and you can pick off anybody rotating back. And really the only thing that could have gone wrong for EKU there is if that Capcan slipped through at the right time, but Loma was ready for him, and just outclassed in terms of preparation and strategy there on EKU's attack against this defense from the Coast Guard.
Yeah, I think we are going to see one of these players potentially try to play in towards that, I guess, what is the call out for that little area next to Wine? Yeah, right there.
That'd be Boiler. Yeah, maybe might see them extend out there so they don't give it up so fast, which is why EKU so much. Deleted with an attempted spawn peek, but Moon reads it out. That would have been a big pick if Legion got the ace, but he got punished and is now going to be low HP for the rest of the round.
Well, nevertheless, EKU are pretty much set up in a position where they're gonna try more of the same, and that is gonna be a disconnect. I don't know what the rule is gonna be on that, but I think the players are just gonna play that out. We'll probably get a tech pause in the interim between rounds, but I especially believe, since damage was already taken, that the round has to be played out.
Yeah, I have to be honest, I'm not 100% sure on what the ECAC specific rules are, but it will look like either way EKU will play this round out, and I wouldn't count them out just being man down here. It's a 4 versus 5, but it depends on what they decide to go for. Looks like they might rotate over and open the garage up.
Yeah, and just try to force a mistake here and see if they can catch one off, but we will see the Thatcher grenade go out. Thermite going, K-Trek out, and I think that's going to be in time. No, will not be in time.
Double EMP'd it, so the second K-Claw made no difference.
Yeah, you guys know what's up, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like most of the team is stacked. Their Moon is outside the front door holding the main rotation, and EKU might decide to just go for this early here. They're going to smoke and fire with the Capital, try to go for this plant.
Yeah, Kolvix is in. Cade's taking a lot of damage.
It's a little bit risky not having any vertical pressure, but...
Yeah. Oh?
3 kills come out in sequence from EKU, though, and suddenly what was a 3 versus 5 in dire straits, it's a 3v2. And now EKU have the men to work with the round with this man advantage.
Yeah, honestly, the biggest problem for EKU now is that the diffuser is in such a bad spot for you. You really just kind of have to push on in order to get it. And doing that, let alone getting it down, and they will get it, and they will quickly back on out. A great play to not try to commit there. And Moon's putting a great deal of pressure here. The problem is 20 seconds to work with, though. How do you convert this?
They do have everything they need. They have a guy that can watch blue and a guy that can watch connector. They can still force this plant here. They don't have to go for kills just yet.
Yeah, the swing comes through. Dunnett will be able to find one. The gunfight win for him is massive. A 2 versus 2 now. Borger going to work onto site. Looks to get a kill. Sin will find one. Gets picked up on there, and the diffuser going down. Diamond is just going to be able to swing here, and so unfortunate. Off the back of a disconnect, they almost make that work.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate. Unfortunately for EKU, might have had to have gone for kills there rather than the plant last second if they could have just got to that blue player, but just didn't work out. And yeah, still an interesting round that was almost converted despite the disconnect early.
Yeah, so we are going to see a rehost here. I believe the score is going to stand 2-1 for the Coast Guard, but nothing that's too dire straits for EKU, I don't believe, especially with their performance in that last round, despite all the negatives.
Yeah, a couple rounds down early, but yeah, that was just an unfortunate disconnect. Coast Guard did win that first round decisively, so I do like what I'm seeing out of Coast Guard in terms of their competition on Chalet versus Labs. But yeah, that was just an unfortunate round for EKU, and not sure if that round will get replayed or not, but likely not since it was so far into the round. But yeah, we'll see a rehost, and it's still going to be 2-1, though, for the Coast Guard.
Yeah, so we're going to let these teams rehost. They might want to take maybe a small walk. Just, they didn't take one in between maps, so maybe take a quick bathroom break. We're going to take a quick break ourselves, take a couple drinks of water, but we'll be right back with you here shortly. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We got everyone in the lobby. We're rehosted up, and we are heading now into round number 4. Coast Guard up 2-1 here on map number 2, Chalet, and they will go back to Master's office.
Yeah, this round worked out really well for them the first round. EKU went for that solar side take, but they kind of sent men at Coast Guard one by one, and Legend 27 won his gunfights, and EKU were punished. So we'll see if EKU decide to switch it up or do something different this round. And if not, they've got to adjust those little mistakes to that attack that we saw the last time.
10 seconds remaining.
Zofia or Ashe, just in general, you think?
5 seconds.
In general, I would say Ashe is more common in the meta, but you see the Zofia here to get any castle barricades, but actually this round not running castle, so not quite as useful as Ashe would have been with the Mira pick that we see from Coast Guard here.
Yeah, we will see both from Lomo and Colvix. So.
Oh yeah, I didn't see Lomo.
Yeah, he switched like I believe literally last second.
Probably caught the Mira. Does look like we might have an interaction on the basement here.
Yeah, Ella lurking pretty far, and I think EKU are wanting to flood her out. She is gonna back off. Yeah, and EKU were getting pretty heavy on it. It looks like she'll go back through blue up to staircase. The drone's gonna realize that, and they will forego that pursuit. Pretty strong presence here on the first floor. Do have to be careful about the roamers, as it were, but Colvix is gonna pick up Diamond. A great pick there.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how he got that pick, but that was huge. And you'll see this a lot for these solar side takes. Teams will get in below to try to get vertical pressure on these power spots, and looks like they're having some more company from Donut here in dining room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the red pings are coming out even, and I think that's just going to be through the wall off the red ping. Sid manages to find that. Might have taken the chow. We don't know for sure, but I wouldn't put it past these guys to be shooting through the wall like that.
Yeah.
Especially on this map.
Here comes the vertical pressure on the bathroom player. Just quite did not get to him. They'll have to drone these guys out, but they have the man advantage to handle this. They just cannot send bodies one at a time. They should be able to handle this 5 versus 3.
And there's also a lot of repel pressure here as well from EKU. We got 3 players set up on that, and that opening up that soft barricade, kind of looking across sight there. Borger's going to be able to take down Deleted from inside. And so the 5 versus 2 now is EKU having a much cleaner collapse here onto Master's office. ECAC is going to pick up Colvix. Finding that kill will help them momentarily, but Moon is going to be covered while he goes for the plan. ECAC gets taken down, the 1 versus 4 here for the Legend 27. And I don't believe he's going to be able to take this one down.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he is that guy today. Borger shuts him down. And a much better round from EKU, although I gotta say, Coast Guard kind of gave EKU opportunities to get the man advantage there. They sent 2 bodies at EKU below and got punished. EKU did a good job of that, but when sort of playing patient is what worked for them on that first Master defense, I'm not sure why they spent so much utility and resources there, sending people down below to challenge EKU.
Yeah.
Did not work out.
Yeah, and honestly, like, Donut, I think, does a great job to kind of get out when he realizes that he's going to get overpowered in the basement, and then goes to put more pressure on the first floor, but just overstays his welcome, I think. Just gets a little too greedy on the second reach out, and I believe Sin was the one who cleans him up, so... A great play out of EKU there to equalize this one in the 4th round of the half. We now go into round number 5, and Coast Guard are going to go back to Master's office. Looking, I believe, to set up a bit more conservatively here. We're seeing the Jaeger, we're seeing the castle barricades, as you mentioned.
Yeah, what I'm gonna almost guarantee here is since we see Coast Guard setting up much heavier on that solar side, EKU are going to go opposite. They'll go library over this round, path of least resistance, and all of that extra resources that Coast Guard are contributing to the solar side of the map.
Just going to be useless.
Going to be pretty useless here as we see EKU indeed setting up library.
Yeah, and honestly, we didn't see any of the typical library setups. No deployable shields over in that area. No destruction of the soft walls to allow some more angles. Feels pretty underused by the Coast Guard, and we'll see if that comes back to bite them.
Yep. They spent all their utility to go over and, no library setup, and EKU are going to kind of take this stuff for free. And look to execute on this office side rather than the master side.
Setting up a sequential breach.
Yeah, and 1127 gonna get sprayed down by Kolvix there. I'm not quite sure what the angle was. I know Kolvix was on the rappel on the other side. I think, yeah, that's what it was. Just finds a nasty little rappel spot. And he's just gonna keep taking challenges here, keep applying the pressure, spray a few things out, and I mean, the rest of EKU has worked a lot of control over here at library side, especially Sen. Deleted going to take a bit more damage, but EKU, they're very clearly comfortable. This feels like a pretty similar setup to where they had the control that they wanted on Nighthaven, and they just sat for a moment to let Coast Guard make a mistake.
Yeah, they're just going to keep their guns up and maybe apply a little pressure to these spots. There's really not much more that EKU need to go for this execute. I will say that Jaeger, Donut being below, could end up being the X Factor, but he'll actually come up solar side. So now it's a full top floor hold from all the defense, and EKU probably about to think about going for the execute. They just need to clear this half wall player to have the space that they need.
Yeah, and there's the red ping too. We'll move him off of that position, and 2 will drop off the back of Sin there. Sin runs in and finds 3 just out of nowhere. The Ash special. Kolvik's gonna clean that one up. And a beautiful round by EKU.
Yeah, EKU applying all that pressure on that Legion, and the Legion's like, guys, I need help. And then when the help comes, Sin's there to farm them.
Yeah.
And just absolutely torn apart there. Strategically, when Coast Guard expected that solar side again, but EKU switched it up and then just started picking them apart and applying pressure that Coast Guard might not have been ready for.
Yeah, and that's like just one of those things where, you know, maybe I say this as a person who's just watching, but when you're setting up on defense, obviously the offense has, you know, the same amount of time to look at what you're doing and come up with an idea of how to adapt to that. Just seems like a little negligible from the Coast Guard to not really think about library at all on that setup.
Yeah, they probably thought, you know, hey guys, EKU, they did the same solar take twice in a row, so let's set up heavy for it. And they just didn't consider that EKU might have thought one step ahead there. So while Coast Guard were busy playing checkers, we had EKU playing chess. So they did get punished, and looks like we'll see another boiler extension here on the basement. And this did work the last time around, but to be honest, it was sort of off the back of that unfortunate disconnect. So now we'll see if EKU, with all 5 up, can manage this better. Seeing the ram come out indicates that they do not want to go for that backside this time. They will go for some more fuller map control and maybe try to plant on the snowmobile garage side this time around.
You know, it looks like they are going to push for that garage breach here early, and Sin and I believe Moon are looking to clear up top, starting with library. And the garage door will get open. See, this is more my speed, man. I can get behind this.
Yeah, early snowmobile garage open here. But they have to have more than that. They need that control upstairs, which the rest will try to get there.
Yeah, some dronage getting taken down, and 3 players up top for EKU. So Kolvix and Border are going to be the players around the garage door to apply some pressure onto site. Meanwhile, the other 3 players of EKU are looking to clear out some rumors, get some top space before working down to the site. However, Deleted is going to find Sin up top, and Kolvix has a nice little drone here set up for Sin to really watch.
Yeah, this Kate is a nuisance here for what EKU want to do. They got to clear this main stairs player out. They also got to worry about, I was going to say the other people that are upstairs, but it looks like that Coast Guard called for a bunker after they get that initial pick. All of Coast Guard are now back on the site, and EKU need a little more control to go for anything here as the clock starts to get a little lower than they probably hoped for.
Yeah, I don't really hate the bunker call from Coast Guard here, especially you get that first pick. Just don't risk anything on, you know, an overextension, especially when, I mean, EKU really has one true path here. They're gonna have to bully the stairs, and they're gonna have to bully the garage door. Moon opening up pretty much everything top side, trying to get some more vertical pressure going. Lomo's going to help him out with what he can. 40 seconds on the clock now. EKU going to open up this hatch, and looks like we're going to see a lot of vertical pressure here from EKU.
Yeah, EKU, if they can clear this cave, they actually have everything that they need to cover a plant, but they got to take care of the cave.
Yeah, it's that one player there, and he will eventually go down. He does find one on the Colvix before dropping, and the swing coming in. If Lomo could find this kill, it'd be so huge. The gunfight is in, but not quite. Borger tries to get the plant down, but has to back off of it. He is going to try to stick that again. Deleted will find Lomo, though. Borger in a really tough position. 4 seconds left. Tries to swing, but unfortunately, Coast Guard just have all the right angles, and they're going to take the last round and a half.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. I'm not sure that EKU knew what to do with the bomb there. They might have been able to force the plant if they planted on that shelf at the bottom of the main stairs, but instead they had Borger go in with the bomb through the garage breach, and when you do that, you have no hope of getting the bomb down or any kind of control, and Coast Guard just pick them apart because they got the man advantage.
Yeah.
An even split on the attack there from EKU 3-3 as they move over to defense. We'll see how EKU's defenses hold up and see Coast Guard's attacks. And to be honest, last map, that was the flaming issue with Coast Guard, was their inability to push multiple lanes. Their attacks looked, honestly atrocious. And we're going to have to see if they can pull out any more understanding of the game beyond that to have a chance against EKU's defenses.
I'm not sure I could have said it better myself. And we will see EKU setting up pool fireplace. Again, really loving the first 4 sites as opposed to Master's office. And we will see, I'm assuming we're going to see a similar setup where we're playing in a library, we're bunkered, we have a little bit of some stalling down below, but otherwise kind of just playing for those layers, like you said.
Yeah, a lot of teams, they'll try to do some cheesy stuff where they'll get into the garage early, so that's why a lot of the time you'll see teams reinforcing the garage even though it's bar. Just don't want that fast run up main stairs type of plays to happen. Just gives you some more control.
Yeah.
And otherwise, looks like EKU are doing a library-focused bunker here with Frost top blue, have a Mine top fire or mezzanine, and mirror with this interesting library mirror facing the canine balcony.
Oh, okay, yeah, we got there. Oh my god, wait, she kill him.
Some more jiggles from Lomo.
Yeah, Lomo wants it bad, actually.
Yeah, he's probably not too comfortable having a donut. He's looking to get on the board, but don't want to overexpose yourself and get punished for it.
Deleted is going to get dropped. Some vertical play there onto Moon, but a great kill out of him to take down the Ash.
Yeah, kind of a questionable call here from Coast Guard. They jumped in site and jumped in library, and they just get easily cleaned up. Looks like another one in library does get border, but EKU now sending 2. The C4 gets 1.
On the bottom.
Now, the entirety of Coast Guard's team went in library, and does look like Spag will get 2. That's huge.
Yeah, but quickly trade off by Lomo there. Lomo's going to pick, or Sin will actually get that one, but dead man walking from the moment those 2 players shout him. And yeah, I mean, it seems to just be more of the same out of Coast Guard. They look a lot stronger on the defense, but I feel like that's pretty typical across the board from a lot of teams, is to look way stronger on the defense. But on the offense, man, I think you said it, it's just so one-dimensional, and I believe atrocious was the word.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that library take sort of falls into that same category. They sent one guy into the site window as the rest of them jumped in library, and sure, the site guy pulled the warden from looking at the library jump in from below, but
for like 5 seconds, I mean, he just gets the pick and looks back through hatch.
Yeah, having a frost mat there was pretty big for EKU to guarantee that pick, but yeah, then the rest of EKU just farm everybody else jumping in library, since EKU had a strong library setup. Just very questionable from the Coast Guard. now EKU, they're going to go to garage here. The basement side, you see the two-round cave going to try to hold on to that snowmobile garage wall with these operators. And without the Maverick from Coast Guard, just the Thatcher Thermite, it's going to be hard for them to take care of this tuber route tricking. Going to have to probably see something else from Coast Guard if EKU do not make mistakes here.
Yeah, and especially with no hard breach either. I mean, they're going to be pretty committed to one way or the other. I'm not sure Thermite is going to have enough charges to really be effective across multiple lanes like we saw with the Ace on the EKU attacks, you know, kind of breaking in from the backside. So I think it feels like they're set up for another one-dimensional push here.
Yeah, and not really sure how. Oh, looks like somehow the tuber route tricking does not work out, but Borger says, okay, if I didn't get that done, then I'll swing the breach and get a pick. And now it's 5 versus 4 for EKU on defense.
Yeah, not really what you want to see at a Diamond Blaster 0-4 here since the reconnect. And that's going to dissuade the Coast Guard from really trying to put any pressure on the garage door. They are going to swing around towards back hall here. And they're just going to try to make their life easy. They're just going to try to swing around. And Deleted does get dropped. No one is in really any position to pick him up. So that's going to waste a lot of time or just put the Coast Guard down a player. We will see the Tuberow charges going towards the wine door, or the wine hard barricade. And so that will be stalling for some more time. But otherwise, the Coast Guard have completely rotated around. And EKU are in a pretty beautiful spot here with a minute 20.
Yeah, the Tuberow not working on the snowmobile garage, but he will rotate it for boiler, and he's going to stall some time there. And actually, looks like that Coast Guard do not even get the wall open, so Coast Guard are going to need to come up with something else to do here. But Sin on that roam just farms donut as he's doing who knows what.
Yeah, an 8-1 out of him. I mean, this guy is going crazy since the rehost. Legend will pick up one. ECAC picks up another. So into the 3 versus 2 now. Lots of damage going out towards the Coast Guard. So health advantage strongly in the way of EKU here, but one player does manage to get on site here on a kind of an awkward timing, and he's going to be able to swing and find that kill onto Borger. 2 versus 2 now with 30 seconds here, and ECAC finds the third of the round. Legend will get taken down, but that is not the diffuser. ECAC is going to plant, and with 45 seconds, he's in a pretty good position here outside of the breach. Sin is just probably going to have to take this chow.
Yeah, 1 versus 1. Sin knows exactly where the defender is. I mean, the attacker of Spag, but Spag's going to know where he's at. And this is a clincher for sure.
Yeah, Sin backs on up. Gonna tap. Takes the swing and gonna win it as the chow from outside.
What a flick from Sin, and despite EKU almost throwing that one, Sin makes the hero play to save it.
Yeah, and this guy is 10-1 since the rehost. Bro is doing everything.
Yeah, Spag hit the floor and then he got put on it, and Sin, an amazing flick and adjustment.
Puts him in a montage.
Yeah, to put Spag to bed.
And honestly, that was a really good round of the Skag too, man. I mean,
Spag.
Yeah. He finds 3 in just the most awkward of scenarios. He catches a really weird timing on the cross into sight there, and so catches, I believe it was Borger off guard in the little storage room next to the breach. And him getting that timing, man, it is really what enabled him to be able to be in that situation in the first place. But nevertheless, we see Sin clutch it up, and we will see now the kitchen hold.
Yeah, moving on to kitchen, and again, probably going to see some layering here from EKU. They're bringing the mirror and the Ella, probably expecting maybe some shield play, not sure, or maybe just to catch people funneling with the Ella mine, but yeah, it looks like EKU will go for this vertical hold, locking down office and piano and looking to layer back through bathroom and master.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Sentry is more or less just a recruit, right?
Yeah, in essence, it's a new recruit. It's very good in comp because though you sacrifice the primary ability, you get an extra secondary gadget, and for any time that you need that util, sometimes operators are brought just because of the secondary gadget and what they need to bring. So we see the shield here. A lot of the time you just bring an operator with a shield so you can have that shield. So the idea is just, well, if we need the shield, why not bring the shield plus another gadget that we need? And so yeah, Sentry adding a lot to the utility side of the game.
Some vertical play being set up by EKU. And honestly, Coast Guard are doing a pretty good job of getting in from the library side. They will take a couple swings here over towards top office.
Yeah, Lomo kind of in a crazy spot here, and he's going to get pinched out and picked. None of those peaks from Lomo working out for him, but Moon's going to equalize. That was important. Now it's 4v4, and Coast Guard's still, again,
All around library.
pretty one-dimensional, but looks like Sin's going to get picked from the highway window maybe, and just a overexposure there that gets punished.
Yeah, and there's a camera that they cannot deal with. The red pings are just going crazy on the Coast Guard, so we will see Borger kind of rotate back. Moon is going to be able to find one.
Yeah, yet again, Moon with a big play to equalize. Here comes Borger to assist. Moon goes down, but we have Borger here in Solar.
Yeah, and he is looking to take some heads. 1 minute on the clock here as well, so if EKU can utilize this Borger, going to be able to take down Deleted. A great shot out of him.
Recovered the bomb diffuser.
In the 2 versus 2, player runs straight through. Borger is going to be able to find that kill. Kolvik's definitely helping. Gets the assist there, and Diamond, he'd have to get on the board for 2 here in this round in order to take this for Coast Guard. And you certainly, if you're a fan of them, want to see them do it. You do not want to see them go down 6-3, but it looks like they're calling for a bunker. Kolvik's and Borger just going to rotate back onto site, play off the Mira. And 30 seconds left here. Diamond's in a precarious situation. I think he hears them. The C4 goes off, and a beautiful read there off the sound cue from Borger.
Yeah, great C4 from Borger. And really good round from EKU, and great stuff from Moon.
Yeah.
Equalized each time we saw Lomo and Sin sort of overexpose and get picked apart, but Moon was there to equalize, and then Borger tidied it up at the end there, coming up to assist, and yeah, clean and shop. And now it's 6-3, EKU winning all their defenses so far, and Coast Guard's issues on their attacks still glaring.
Yeah.
That entire round, I think all 5 players
just hit
pushed
library
over, and just not working out when you just have that one dimension of attack.
Yeah, and 10-2 from Sen, 8-3 from Borger there. And I mean, just a gorgeous set of play from those two. A masterclass here on Chalet. And then obviously from the flip side, some stat lines. We don't need to call them out. They know who they are. But we will see the return to Fireplace pool.
Shields going out.
And another library setup looks to be in the cards here for EKU. And you wonder, do we see an adaptation here from Coast Guard? And it feels a little too late for any sort of adaptation here. You could win 3 straight, but pretty difficult, especially when you consider that EKU are going to have a basement in the back pocket here pretty soon. And I guess we shall see.
Yeah, EKU running just about the same hold because it worked so well last time, and yeah, we'll see if Coast Guard bringing the Capital Fire and the Grim Bees. I like this utility that they're bringing to try to apply better pressure on these power spots that EKU have been holding so well, but you'll have to do something other than just library to apply the pressure you need to pick apart EKU.
I mean, this guy Lomo loves that angle, I swear.
Yeah, he's not afraid to stick his face on these windows.
You gotta tip it. Kolvik's is gonna take down 1.
Unfortunately, Donut, the one time they send somebody somewhere else, immediately gets cooked by Kolvik's.
Yeah, this Frost Gun, man, I'll tell you what. We're being told to pause the game. I believe the round is going to get played out, especially because this is... Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure with this round already starting. This round should play out and should.
Yeah, especially with that coming after the death of Donut there. I mean, 3 versus 5. I don't see any reason, especially with the series going the way it is. I mean, good fight here. Lomo getting caught off guard. Border in for the help. Takes down 27. Diamond Blaster's gonna finish this game 0-6. And flawless round from EKU. We'll stick around for a couple seconds to see what's up there. I mean, GG's are in the chat, so I don't know whatever is going on there. But I'm almost certain that result will stand. So, I mean, EKU, beautiful set of defenses across the board from them. They only drop, I believe, across the 2 maps. They believe they dropped 1 defensive round.
Yeah, they lost the first defense that they played the first round of the series, and after that, they just really withstood these attacks from the Coast Guard, which were very questionable in their one-dimensionality, I suppose.
But that's the kind of thing that you like to see out of a team is, you know, lots of teams across, you know, we were talking tier 3, tier 2 competitors get really complacent when they start playing teams that aren't necessarily as good or, you know, strategically sound. Being able to do that and get through almost flawlessly on your defenses against a less than competent set of attacks speaks to the fundamentals a lot, in my opinion.
Yeah, and again, that's what it was. EKU they didn't have to do too much other than lean on their fundamentals there, because unfortunately the Coast Guard attacks just didn't provide enough to require much more from EKU. But
for sure. So that is going to be it for us this week. Tune back in next time for some more R6 action, but that's going to close it out. I mean, again, defensive masterclass from EKU. I've been Alan.
Marshall.
And we will see you guys next time.